So hello, Jenny.
Hello, guys.
Hello, everybody.
All right. I just finished writing this one up. So let's see what happens. All right. The first one is, this wasn't the first one I wrote. I wrote the other one yesterday that I'm going to end with. And I've already read that
I've heard it once.
to Gina
Yeah.
yesterday. So I will end with that.
It's full of activations.
Yeah. So the first one in this list is setting the stage for a perspective change. All the world's a stage, but instead of one act at a time, many acts are playing out at any given moment. It's a house with many rooms and many corridors, all with simultaneous yet differing scenes. Scene coordinators are now syncing up to an overall theme through the corridors and into many of the rooms. It's about to begin. So where's your focus?
Mm-hmm.
We are afforded the chance to see where are we before this starts. I mean, it's already started, but before it becomes obvious for the masses. Doesn't mean they're going to take it the way we've taken it.
Yeah.
But where are you? Where's your focus right now?
Are we self-focused? Are we other-focused? Is that what
I have a sense of getting ready for something to happen for sure. I have it's a sense of just apprehension of getting prepared, preparedness with my kids too, like helping them and just the insight that they're dropping, like Charlotte with just the human behaviors, the things that she's saying, it's like blowing my mind, just what she's noticing about humans and how they behave at 11 years old, just mind blowing. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So it's all like we're getting ready for a shift for sure.
Yeah. So it's where is your focus? When your daughter says something to you, what is your first inclination? Is it to get her to expand on that? Or is it to go, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, there's no right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I typically encourage, I like to encourage just her thought, just more thought than just a reactionary moment. She has a lot of thought behind what she's saying. So I just encourage that more than anything. I don't really always ask too much. I'm just like, well, that's awesome. Or sometimes I will say, well, how did you get that? Or how'd you figure that? And she'll expand on it for me. And it's kind of almost the same thing that I was thinking already, but it just blows my mind because it's something that at my age, it's just occurring to me and it comes out of her like it's naturally always been there. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it makes me feel good because I feel like I'm supposed to prepare her for life without me, so it's kind of nice to have her dropping these knowledge bombs, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, good. It makes me feel like you're good.
Right.
You got this. And I feel like I'm trying to set an example of how I'm living my life so that I can just to be good for my kids and then everybody else, I guess, who's also going through the same things, just trying to set a good example always.
Yeah. So the thing is, we don't live in static lives. We don't live in static moods. We don't live in static thought processes. So where's your focus when you're on the low end? Where's your focus when she comes to you, when you're on the high end, when you're in the middle, when you're preoccupied with something else, when throw a scenario out there, it's catching yourself at it's not to judgment, it's to get a sense, a more broad 360-degree perspective on yourself. Because whether parents want to, I mean, it's a matter of perspective, but the kids will take care of themselves. I don't mean everything in 3D. I'm just talking about
spiritual.
They have the same kinds of missions you have. The only difference is in this incarnation, you are further along in being in this 3D world than they are.
Right.
But they may be further along in where we're going to than we are as adults.
Right. I feel that with at least definitely my 11-year-old, I feel that with her.
There's a lot of people that will not take any advice from children.
No, yeah.
Now,
they're so missing it.
That's for them to deal with. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. I'm just going to say that's one perspective.
It's their journey.
That's not my perspective. My perspective, because I want completeness, means advice can come from even someone I don't like, or someone who's much younger than me, because that is just a 3D perspective.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So,
well, that what you said also prompted me to think about, because you said when you're on the high end or when you're on the low end, and part of it's where are you at with other people, but also where are you at with yourself. So I was telling Jenny today, I've been a bit off today, and so it's like how do you hold yourself? Is it in a matter of frustration, or are you in a mode of expectation that it's going to be better? And
I'm just giddy right now because you're
I'm going right through.
I haven't even read this stuff to you, not this stuff, and it's just making me giddy. Right. So the next one is holiday spirit within the theme park. Many changes have occurred to prepare for the coming unveiling of the new theme within the park. The park administration is quite good at hiding the preparations, but the signs are all around for those who have eyes to see. Either way, the theme will change, and the hearts know, regardless of the eyes. This is the time to gauge your anticipation of inclusions and joy, or of exclusion and fear. Your own prescience of this is for your own edification and not the jurisdiction of anyone else. So where is your focus?
Wow.
Woo, I got some chilies.
Wow, that brought tears. Yeah. That was incredible. Yeah, because I think, and Jenny and I were talking a little bit before we started here about the difference of, the feeling right now. You don't feel that kind of what we consider that holiday spirit. And I was driving around today, and I even turned on some Christmas music thinking, okay, maybe it would get me in the spirit. But it's like I'm saying, that doesn't feel authentic to me. It's what you just read about the joy of inclusion and stuff like that. That's where it's like, that's that joy that,
it's not about gift.
Right. That's the joy that is calling me right now.
Yeah. It's about being in the spirit.
Yeah.
Being including more and not excluding. There is no judge. The only judge you have to be concerned about is you, of yourself. Because it's no one else's jurisdiction. They try. That doesn't mean they're right. People can give their opinion, tell you what you should do. Right. That doesn't mean they even have a right to do that. The only right they have is what you give them.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a right to have their opinion. I have the right not to listen to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me, what do you think about me?
Nice to know.
Yeah, so, all right, so again, where's your focus? All right, the next one is inclusion or exclusion. That is the question. What you've done up until this moment is forgiven by you if you'll let yourself be. Now, in this moment, you're free to choose anew. Are you going to choose the you of old or the you anew? The separate you of old goes without saying, but the you anew shares the view with others. So where is your focus?
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong. It's about, do you want to be 1 unit tall Or do you want to be 500 unit tall? Because 500, you can see much more. You can get more involved. You can see more things. You have more options. You have more choices. You have more feelings. You can bounce around among them. You don't, when you're in a room full of people at a party, imagine having the freedom to just bounce around and play whatever part you want to play, not just move your body, but move your existence from this body and go share with someone else who's in another conversation.
Yeah.
Because that's the inclusion we're talking about. We're not talking, we are meant to be separate units to have a separate perspective. But that doesn't mean that we stay with that and only that.
Yeah, it's like putting yourself into them and their shoes.
That's multidimensionality. That's what we're moving to. Some people are going to fight it. Some people came here and they like the mission, even though they sit there and complain or whatever. They stay in the same mission, and they are going to hold on to it until they can't hold on to it anymore.
Right.
And the universe is saying it's time to move on. That you've squeezed every ounce of learning and experience you can out of this. It's time to move on to other parts of the park.
You're right.
Yeah, and we've also, what came up for me is when you said inclusion too, we've also, that word is like misused. And so the inclusion that I feel when you say the inclusion for me is that true curiosity and inclusion. I mean, it's that celebration of the other, not just tolerate. We tend to think of inclusion as, okay, I'm going to tolerate or make, adjust what I'm doing so that you're okay with it. And inclusion means we all are all of who we are, and we enjoy that about ourselves. It's just like
allowing the person to actually be who they are instead of including them and saying, okay, you can do this and be here. But like allowing it just to be authentically them.
Right, exactly. And you can, just like we said before, you can have the opinion. You have the right to have the opinion. I have the right to not listen. It's I have the right to be me, and I can be fully me without worry about that, and they can be fully them without worry about, distortions.
Yes.
That's the true inclusion that I'm feeling from it.
I am a firm believer in freedom of speech. That includes hate speech. I don't like hate speech, but I believe that it's not our job to judge people and their hate speech or whatever. Karma takes care of that.
Right.
You let people say what they want and suffer the consequences that they then pass on themselves. And let them learn. Because do they learn when we exclude them?
No.
Because that's what's been going on with social media and other facets of society. When someone doesn't like what someone else is saying, they exclude them. Well, what are you doing when you exclude them?
You label them and then you exclude them.
Right. But you're making yourself the opposite of multidimensional. You're moving away from inclusion. And even though you claim, well, we're doing this for inclusion so that more people, but you're actually excluding.
Yeah, so, whose side are you on? Yeah, it's like that is by nature.
You can't force inclusion.
No, you can't. It has to come from the heart.
Yes. I mean, because otherwise it's false inclusion. So, all right, the next one is as above, so below starts with you inside and out. In our current world of gravity, we can't have the above without the foundation of the below, just as the inside supports the existence of the outside. Without us, why have a universe at all? Why have beautiful works of art without those who can appreciate its gifts? We do support these endeavors, but appreciation is in the eyes of the beholder. What if you could view these works of art through the many eyes of the many beholders? And from there, what if you could see into the eyes of the beholders from the works of art?
Mm. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because what is inclusion?
Right.
We're all one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we're all works of art.
We're all works of art.
Yeah.
That's true.
Remember, all we do is put labels on things, and we differentiate things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've done that. We've lived it. We learned it. We experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
We've hit our low,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're whiplashing back the other way because the universe is self-correcting,
Mm-hmm.
including all the shards of source, which is what we are.
Yeah. Think about if we regarded each other as works of art.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We would totally sit there and respect the creator, the entity that you're looking at, and all the little nuances of it, recognizing that no two pieces, no two works of art are exactly the same, and we don't try to make them the same when we see them as paintings or sculptures and stuff like that. So if we regarded each other as works of art and appreciated that, wow. And then when you said and see it from the works of art, I was imagining myself as the painting and all of the expressions on the faces of those beings that would see me, and it would elicit certain responses. Some of them it would bring joy, some of them it might bring
Right, like feeling what the artist would feel as they were creating.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. More tears.
I know, it's beautiful.
Oh, but wait, I still have the finale.
Wow. That's
So
good, honey.
here we go. This one's longer, okay?
I need to get my crystal out of
so be patient with me on this one, okay? So it might be a little rough around the edges. All right, so here we go. You are a symbiotic life form with all of life. You've chosen human to share with and raise its awareness. You are only human form at this point to share its perspective and teach humans, but the human decides how much and how fast. You are also a conduit to all of life and the collective knowledge from which it springs forth. You, as an all-knowing and all-capable being, are tasked with guiding your human back on a path towards source in a most loving manner, while assisting other humans who are also in a symbiotic relationship with you with the same endeavor. Each endeavor is unique in that each human is unique. While there exists a sameness within each human endeavor, from a guide point of view, that is you. Be patient with your human, as each knows not what you know. Your presence within each of them is not the same yet, due to their decision. This is as it should be, since love forces no one, and only acceptance of what is shown leads to a unique path of sovereignty worthy of Source's attention and yours. Your human/higher self combo straddles two realities or perspectives, one of limits, control, division, and smallness, and one of energetics, inclusion, and infinity. You are the drink of water and the drink of water before satiation. And there is much that can be experienced from both perspectives prior to satiation. Just knowing the water is available to the drinker is a massive perspective change in the eyes of the human. Consuming the water is but the inevitable act of acceptance of all that is. Some will guzzle with abandon, while others savor their sips, and still others wallow in their thirst. Observe their choice and guide accordingly, with love and patience. For you once were like they, not knowing of the coming joys of union. Peace cometh upon you, and no will shall hasten its blanket upon another's will. Humans, now speaking to the humans, the human portion of you, humans, we welcome your sacred arrival and cherish the sovereignty with which you will stand among your siblings. Fear not the consequences of your actions, for they are but ripples against the waves of enlightenment and the source from which your future celebrations will erupt.
Mm.
For now, find your calm, your knowing, or your pause where you may commune with us, your higher self, for that drink of water, of all that is. With sovereign love and patience, we await your bidding.
Wow.
I've read that like 20 times and it still gets me.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to type that in the description, right?
Yes. I'm going to be
Yeah, that's,
busy
wow.
today.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, there's so many layers to that one. It's that's what I said, it's full of activations because the drinker of water before satiation, but knowing the cup, knowing the water is there, and it's just like it just describes so much what we've been feeling, and what we also see others, if they don't know the water is there, what it feels like. We can empathize with that, and
It's
knowing that the joy's coming, the joy's coming.
It's on the other side, yeah.
It's the person who appreciates the art and the art, seeing both perspectives.
Tissue? I thought I had a tissue here.
Did I create a flood?
I think so.
Look at you cracking open the heart chakra.
That's exactly what it was meant to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Oh, that was beautiful.
that was beautiful.
Thank you. It was a gift given to me, and I share it wholeheartedly.
It's a lovely interpretation, though. I mean, the way that you decoded it, or whatever you did, the way you wrote it, it came out beautifully.
Yep, that's we all have that magical ability. We just have to believe in it.
Yeah,
I've stopped doubting it. I still have these little things here and there, and that pushes things out a little bit longer or whatnot. But I've pretty much said I believe. I believe. I'm feeling too much not to believe, and I'm seeing many instances of this coming together. There's no way the lower me, the simple me could have written this without the higher me guiding me along the way.
Especially in one setting, one day kind of thing.
Oh, I did that.
Like, it's just
that one I just read. I wrote. I told you I was feeling it throughout the whole day. I wrote the first half of it, and then I went and took a shower, and I
had lunch
and whatever. And I thought I was going to go back in my room afterwards, because I was sitting there watching the birds and the squirrels and all that. And then I thought I was going to back in my room and just read. And but here it comes again. And I just continued. And you said when I read it to you couldn't even tell where I stopped.
I couldn't tell where he had stopped.
And I was like, wow. I was in it. While I was taking a shower, while I was watching the bird, I was still in it. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if I've felt it like this before, where it lasted so long. That it's I wouldn't describe it as pure bliss, even though there were elements of that. It was a belonging, of knowing, of just seeing through more than one set of eyes.
Plus, there was no like fear or concern that if I stop doing it right now, I'm not going to be able to finish, or it was almost like the concert. You could see the concert between your higher you, the higher you, and the human you, because it was like, okay, human you, go shower, go get lunch, watch, take in that, and then come in your high self. Then
with you.
Yeah, we're with you, and we're dancing this dance. It's not like I'm demanding that you have undivided attention right now, and
When you think about it, okay, I understand this. What I just wrote. This is my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I'm not asking for confirmation from anyone. I'm not asking anyone to accept it. I'm sharing with you as a gift for you to return, do whatever you want with.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, even if this isn't true to you, having this perspective, to me, energizes you.
Mm-hmm.
You are a symbiotic being within your human being.
Mm-hmm.
And you are partnering, you're working together. One of you stronger, one of you weaker.
Mm-hmm.
But the stronger is going to learn from the weaker as the stronger is teaching the weaker.
Mm-hmm.
That symbiotic message, to me, needs to spread around. You don't need to grab it wholeheartedly and believe. I'm not asking you to become a follower of it. I'm asking you to take this work of art and utilize it in your own. There is no copyright material. This is, yes, I wrote it, but I pulled it from the collective consciousness. No one owns this.
Mm-hmm.
We all own it. It's all ours. We all have this ability to tap into this anytime and to gain this perspective and many other perspectives and use it to bolster you when you need it.
Yeah.
That's inclusive.
Absolutely.
I want to share this with more people. I want more people to be in this energy with me. I don't want to get to the finish line and go, where is everybody?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a work of art. Imagine a universe with no one to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that.
No. No, not at all.
So that's what we are all working on. This isn't the way I describe it. You may describe it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the same, roughly the same energy. It's all roughly the same concept of inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be exclusive, then you will deal with you and your karmic waves that you pushed out and that come back to you, because I want this to come back to me. So I'm sending it out.
Yeah. What also comes up is inclusion, and it links back a little bit with something you read earlier, was inclusion starts inside of you. Are you including your human and your higher self in your ego? Are you including the whole of you? Or are you battling those pieces within you? And as long as you're battling or separating off those pieces within you, you're going to see that out into the world. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we had this conversation about evil, good, bad, negative, dark, light. You have to realize anything that you see out there going on, that's all within you.
Mm-hmm.
Even the most evilest stuff, it's all that is a matter of perspective.
Yep.
Once we begin to accept it, we begin to transmute it, and we then take ownership of it. Now we have the power of when each element gets to make an appearance and how. But if we don't acknowledge it, then we're at the whims of the blowing wind.
Our emotional triggers or whatever else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What goes a little bit back to also the conversation we had, what that brought up was the conversation we had about your perspective on, it's kind of like, are you living your life or is your life living you? Are you the victim of it or are you owning it? And that things that happen to you, other focus, things that somebody else has done something to you, everything that we experience, and this is hard for people to understand until you kind of can to experience a little bit, but everything we experience, we have created the seed of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's led to the experience that we're having. It's been a fear we've had, or it's been an intent, something we've had that it's a consequence of something that we've done, but it's and we term it as evil, good, bad, because it feels good or bad. It feels, dark or light.
Right.
But that's all coming from how organized we are inside and how much we're living, like we were talking about all parts of ourselves, how much we're living in concert within ourselves. We'll then have that experience then come to us because it draws to it similar energies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to take all sentient life and remove it from universe, you would remove all good, all evil, all dark, all light, and it would just be basically a flat existence
because there's no
for
observer.
simple forms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no observer.
We bring this to give it
meaning, to give it meaning.
Yeah, you can't have good without bad.
Mm-mm.
Can't have evil without the goodness in us. So it's in accepting it all back, we place it back in its original form so that we can then now go, all right, I can now kind of dish out the stuff that I want for this new existence that we're going into.
Yeah.
Instead of we came in and others came here before we did and they set the stage, but we asked them to. We said, give us an existence that is going to teach us the most and we can experience the most. And they did.
Yeah. Like we said, build the scariest haunted house you can make. And that's what we want. Now we don't want the haunted house anymore. We want fairyland.
Which is how I explained it a while back. I said, imagine the deepest, darkest haunted house you could possibly, and they went and did it. They did it.
It's like
really
the most tricky maze ever. That keeps shifting and changing until finally, you come out the other side and it's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're chasing you around the block with chainsaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that all right, when we mandated that to them, we were in a evil haunted house, darkness oriented existence to set that stage so that we could learn from it. Okay, so if that is ending, then
we get to create something.
Where are we going now?
Yeah.
To me, I tend to believe that we've paid our admission fees into the new amusement park that doesn't have haunted houses.
Yes.
It's about fun and inclusion and community and being more than the inside is actually bigger than the outside would dictate.
Yeah. And creativity and no barriers.
So it's a whole
more nature.
It's a whole new premise behind living and learning.
Yeah.
And experiencing. We already did the evil, the dark, and whatever. It's not bad. That's what we set the stage for. And yet, think of all you who are listening to this and consider yourself good. That's great. There's a lot of people who got stuck in the evil and did evil. We all did, but we all found our way to this incarnation and are in this moment feeling like we're good. There are plenty that don't feel that way. And that's why I wrote that one that said, inclusion or exclusion? That is the question. What you've done up until this moment is forgiven by you if you'll let yourself be. That's with all of our approvals. Yeah. We forgive all of ourselves. And now, in this moment, you're free to choose anew. Are you going to choose the you of old or the you anew? The separate you of old goes without saying. We've already done that.
Yeah.
But the you anew shares the view with others.
Yes.
It's just amazing how this all just links back. And I'm thankful that I'm being a part of this. That's it. Me too. I am the pencil holder.
You're the scribe.
Exactly. That's me in this. And so there's a part of me, because I am in a symbiotic relationship, that I can jump again amongst the different beings that are within me and get a different perspective.
Yeah, that's the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when I'm feeling low from one perspective, I jump to another and say, hey, did you forget all these other things? Did you forget how the last video we did? Did you forget about all the things that you got to write? We gave you the pencil to write it because that was, at the time, that was the best position for you to be in while we're on this bus together. But pretty soon, I won't just be holding the pencil. Yeah. When I'm ready, I get to decide when I'm ready to do more and be more involved. It's my confidence in my higher self is just a different perspective, because it was once like me. Think about all the sentient life that was first created when Source created the universe. They're probably bumping into each other.
Probably.
They didn't know how to act.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no mistakes. Everything was new.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if we could partake in that again.
Yeah, and get rid of the...
But better this time, because we've learned all this stuff that now we can apply going in. So it's actually better than that time period from a particular perspective.
Right.
Everything is perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about learning something, when you get more experienced at something, oftentimes somebody who's well into their craft or their career won't take the risks for, to do something brand new because it seems so counter, or, oh my gosh, it's going to risk their reputation, or it's going to risk their... So the more along the path we as humanity got, the less risk we would take to allow that creativity. And we kind of got stuck in those veins. And now it's a chance for us to kind of break it all open again and say, well, okay, what a blank canvas. Let's just see what we can have,
But not only that, we can do. But with multidimensionality, we can borrow from the children within inside us to help us with our fantasizing.
Yes.
We can we can help with the newbie inside us to have that giddiness and joy that say the mature being in us would stagnate a little bit because I don't want to make a mistake. I've gotten into this routine and whatever. But there are times when you say, I want to break out of that routine. It's stifling now. And that you call on your child, call on your newbie, call on your outlier.
It's so funny. I just watched this show called The United States of Terra, and it's about a woman who has like the DID, and she has like a teenage girl that comes out. She has like one that's like a housewife. She's got a guy who goes and fights for her. And it's all like psychologically what she needs in the moment or what her kids need is what comes out. And watching it from a spiritual perspective was just so fascinating because it is kind of like a literal form of what we do all the time. It was just fascinating. I mean, everything is kind of when you take spirituality and put it, your spiritual perspective on it, but it was exactly what you're talking about.
Well, and it's more that in a way, it's that fluid flow of all those things coming versus what, the DID and the mind control stuff was all fractured and programmed into them versus this is allowing your spirit to bring forward, whatever that creativity is that you want, and you can direct it, you can choose it. And I think part of our learning in that is going to get past this, what we said before, this is good and this is bad, this is right and this is wrong. I was having this conversation with one of my students the other day, and I was like, he was told as an elementary school student, the teacher told him he should never paint because he couldn't paint. It was terrible.
You suck at it.
And I said,
it breaks my heart.
Yeah, it broke my heart. And I was like, then it hit me though. I was like, who said what painting is beautiful and what painting is not beautiful? Who said this is the good way and this is the bad way? This is the right way and this is the wrong way. It should be whatever it is that you enjoy. Some of this artwork you look at, like some of these weird, structures are not, they don't call to me, but I don't go, oh, that's terrible. That artist doesn't know anything about art. It's like it calls to somebody. It just doesn't call to me. So getting into that, not right and wrong.
One of the coolest things my dad ever told me was about my kids. He's like, never tell them to color inside the lines. He's like, let them do whatever they want on that page. He's like, never tell them to color inside the lines.
Yeah.
You're more likely to have that perspective that you have if you're multidimensional.
Yeah.
You can picture what it feels like to be that child or, that person who's told, don't ever paint again. You're terrible at it.
Yeah.
You're more likely.
I know. That's making me want to cry right now. Tim just opened up my eyes.
But if you're of a single dimension, you're more likely to tell someone that because your eyes aren't open. Your heart's not open to the multidimensionality that we all are, that we are all connected.
Yeah, that's true.
So to me, that person who said that to that child, I don't know where they're coming from.
Right.
I don't even know that that's what they said. Maybe the child took it that way.
That's true.
So we have to it's starting to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. To me, you're more likely to do that when you're multidimensional.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
want to cut everyone some slack.
Yes.
Let them suffer when they choose to cause something that causes them to suffer. We want to jump in and we just see someone suffering, and we come in the middle of the act and go, oh, well, you shouldn't suffer and everything. But
That's
our higher self, our multidimensional, what we're coming into is we'll be able to come in the middle, but then get a bird's eye view of the whole thing because time won't matter as much. Be able to see the whole thing and go, okay, let me see if I'm even supposed to help. Because a lot of people don't even stop there and go, am I even supposed to help this person? Or maybe the most I'm supposed to do right now is just let them open up to me. That's it. Don't give them any suggestions.
Just see them and hear them.
Just see them, let your energy wash over them and let them decide how much. And then when you both agree that it's enough, because you also have the perspective on that to say, okay, that's enough. I don't want you being attached to me. But we're more likely to do that as we become more multidimensional.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's what we're moving into. I think some people have been showing this all their life, at least this incarnation of being able that they don't say the hurtful things because they know what it's like. They remember. We all have been on the other side, but the ones that are embracing multidimensionality remember what it's like being on the receiving side of that comment.
Yeah.
That is starting to bubble up now. It's a knowing. It's not a learning.
Right.
There are certain things to learn, but most everything we've already learned. It's now a remembering or a knowing. It wasn't there, and then it's there. And for, everyone, like, and I wrote in this, every endeavor is unique because every human is unique. It's not just you. If you're hearing my words and you're thinking about this, that's you. That's your higher self. However, it's very diluted by the emotions and the instincts of your lower self. That's the other symbiotic side of the relationship.
Right.
Let both exist. Once you do that, it stops being an arena of combat and starts becoming a more of a loving relationship of give her time, just be there. Show the proper, support that you would want to be shown because you remember being there at one point in time.
Yeah, and you show that for the other part of yourself.
Then start doing it for others because they're just like you. They went through and have gone through or are going through the same kinds of things you're going through. It's just the order's different and because the human's different.
Yeah.
The higher self, actually, to tell you the truth, all of our higher selves, it's all the same.
Right.
What's different is the human.
Yeah. It's that lens.
And when you think
fractal.
about, that's why we're all one. It's because all of our higher selves it's all one.
Connected, yeah.
No, it's all the same being.
I think of it like a light ray going through a prism, and then you have the different colors come out, but going in, it's all one.
It's all light. It's all the same light.
Yeah. So we are on the other side of the prism in our high self side.
Yeah, and the whole ascension process is to get back to being the light. From the broken segments of light come together. To be the first, you're one beam of you're one of the refracted beams. Then you start commiserating with other beams as they're coming out of the prism, and then you see yourself as the prism, and then you start seeing yourself as the light. That's the whole ascension process.
Yep.
It's about experiencing it, not hurrying it along.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people
enjoying the inside of the kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
If just like that guy in that article about the event, he said, if you're in a hurry and you want this to hurry up and get going, and someone says, well, what about all the other people? And you say, well, they created the chaos for themselves, and they're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, what's that say?
Whoa, dude, easy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's saying that the longer this event is delayed, the more people are included, which is part of inclusion.
Yeah, the more time they have to.
So I'm more likely to go, take your time. We're telling ourselves to take our time, get it right. Meaning, get it right with the more energy, the more people we can get it right with, to where we feel like, all right, we've got it. We've got the momentum. The rest of the people will come along. It's time to, and I think that's kind of what this is signifying, is that we're there. This thing is getting ready to kick off. When I'm talking about all the world's a stage, we're in a house. And there are many rooms. Instead of, going to see a play, and it's one play act at a time, and then the next that ends and they have to move on, and then the next play act. This is many play acts going on in the same house in different rooms, and the corridors are where all the coordinators are, and all this is going on. But right now what's going on is that the coordinators are all whispering and communicating and trying to sync up to one theme. That's what's going on. That's what's getting ready to break out.
You can feel that.
Not everyone's going to see it. Some people are going to be so focused on the play that's going on in their room that's all. They'll notice it. They feel something's going on, but I'm glued into that. You got to let them. When they're ready to start, looking outside their room and maybe venturing into a couple other rooms to say, "Hey, what's going on in here?" Then you'll know it's right. They're asking, can they partake?
Can they see it? Yeah.
As above, so below.
Yeah, because you would go back to your comment about the hurrying and stuff. What I felt too with that is, it would not be as joyful if you hurry up and you've left all these beings back there and you think, well, if we would have taken another month, we would have had
like I said, if I
millions and more.
If I get to the finish line and look around and to go, where is everybody? I wouldn't want to be responsible for that. So I'm saying, take your time. Let's get as many of us to the finish line as we can, so that we can turn around and go bring the others and say, it's right over there. You're almost there.
It's almost like we've got to hold that elevator door open, that's trying to shut. We've got to kind of hold it open so that more people can get through.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And then the celebrations begin. But before we do that, there are going to be people kicking and screaming and telling you, no, it's good. I'm good to get. When you can tell it's not good.
I think we all had a flash of an experience.
It's like you're using your analogy. It's like the caterpillar going, no, I'm not going in that cocoon. No, it's evil in there.
Yeah, I'm claustrophobic. No.
Right.
And then once he goes in there and turns into a butterfly, it's like butterfly going, thank you. Thank you for dragging me in there against my will, I think.
I would have never been able to fly.
Yeah,
exactly. Because you don't know. Sometimes you don't know if you can't see it through the other side.
Yeah.
I
can't wait when we upload this video and I can go watch it.
Yeah.
And hear my words of the thing that I wrote, because yes, I get to read it, and yes, I'm getting it, but there's another perspective I get once I do that.
Yeah,
we'll have a tissue handy. That's all I gotta say.
It's very different when you read, when you bring it in your eyes versus your ears.
There were a number of times I almost stopped. The one time I had to, it was just piling up, and I was like,
it's deep. Yeah, it's so deep.
That was beautiful.
Just to be a part of it. I'm in awe just to be a part of it.
I know, me too. To even be able to be this close to it, it's nice.
Yeah, it really is. And now I can feel it. It's kind of, I felt like I was kind of in the canal, and the canal kept getting narrower and narrower and narrower. And now the canal is actually starting to open up more, and I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to talk about the way your technology did today too? The filtering of the words. There's been so much stuff going on for him that
I'm not that I'm against sharing it, but that I like what we've done here. I don't want to dilute this.
Yeah.
That's part of manifesting. I think my manifestations are starting to occur. I think they were already occurring, but now when it happened, it's like it made me go, whoa, did that?
Yeah.
I was looking around and say, is there anyone else I can share this with? And nobody was around because she was gone. And I'm like going, did that really just happen?
Yeah, because that's that other side of this. Because you're telling me these experiences daily of.
And I'm telling you words, but you're not.
Can't feel it.
I mean, I was looking at this, and it occurred, and I went, oh my gosh, did I just make that up? No. And then I did it again, and I went, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was just like these writings. Many times you said, there's no way I could have sat down and figured out how to write all of this. So it's like
not the pencil, the pencil holder.
No.
The pencil holder. There's no way the pencil holder could have come up with this.
Yeah.
And all the videos we've been doing, all the lists that I've been putting together, the pencil holder is going, yeah, go ahead. Let's do it again. It's saying us. It gets to hold the pencil, and it's grateful for that.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Well, and that's what I was wanting you to share, is kind of that feeling, that joy that we were talking about. You can kind of see and feel that joy, because I can hear you talk about these experiences from that canal opening up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there.
Yeah, when a video pulls it out of me, I'll share it. Right now, I don't feel like I'm.
Did.
Yeah, but it's becoming more and more, and if pretty soon, I mean, this is just my perspective, but pretty soon, I think people are going to check our YouTube site out, and they're going to go on the playlist tab, and they're going to see the two playlists that we have there of all the videos we did with, most of them were ones we did with Sheila and Lisa, and be able to go back there, and because those things start occurring.
Yeah, they're we've read articles from stuff that we talked about over a year ago on those videos. Yeah, we see them playing out now. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. It's
especially
interesting.
I'm seeing my dreams.
Yeah.
Actually starting, I won't say they're actually whole, like in their whole occurring. I see the precursors. I was telling about the precursors in my dreams in those videos. Now I'm feeling the actual precursors entering my body.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Yeah,
so when it's time, it'll come out that everything will flow accordingly, and whatever. I'm eager to share it, but I don't want to force anything. I don't want to. I want it to flow naturally and for the highest benefit, for the most good.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be a part of this.
Me too.
Me too. Me three.
And I can't wait to watch this video.
I can't either.
I know it's our video. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not going to lie.
Well, are we good? Anything else?
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, see you. Bye.
Bye, guys.